Welcome to Channel Today in History. In today's video we will talk about the day, August 17, 1979, foundation of the National Association of Newspapers in Brazil. In 1964, Brazil entered one of the darkest phases of its political life, with the civil-military coup that submerged the country and its citizens in 21 years of dictatorship. Alleging the risk of installing a communist regime, and in view of the Cold War disputes between the USSR and the US, in addition to accusations of maladministration, army troops, under the command of high-ranking military personnel, ousted President-elect João from power. Goulart. Soon, without elections, General Humberto de Alencar Castelo Branco, president from 1964 to 1967, would reach the position of president, followed in the dictatorial governments by the following soldiers: General Artur da Costa e Silva, 1967 to 1969, General Emilio Garrastaza Medici, 1969 to 1974, General Ernesto Geisel, 1974 to 1979, and General João Batista Figueiredo, 1979 to 1985. In 1985, the dictatorial regime in Brazil ended. Contrary to the freedoms of opinion and political organization, the Brazilian military government revoked the mandates of parliamentarians and heads of executive, instituted bipartisanship, ARENA, the regime's party, and MDB, of the consenting opposition, closed academic and class institutions, arrested or exiled teachers, intellectuals, artists, clerics, political leaders. He tortured and indicted several people in investigations, some of whom are still missing. And one of the sectors that the dictatorship strongly influenced was the production of thought, censoring music, films, plays, artistic shows, and the press. All subversion suspects were framed under the national security law, prosecuted, detained, and punished. The press also suffered the effects of the military regime, at least the journalistic companies that did not adapt to the new political model installed. On the day of the coup, one of the newspapers that did not assume its legitimacy was Ultima Hora, which led to the exile of its director, Samuel Weiner. Many other newspapers joined the regime, publicizing and guaranteeing their propaganda. News like these appear in Brazilian newspapers. Mine is This Time Is With Us. Within a few hours, these forces will be no more than a tiny portion of the countless legion of Brazilians who yearn to definitively demonstrate to the caudillo that the nation will never bend to its impositions. Since yesterday, true legality has been established in the country, legality that the caudillo did not want to preserve, violating what it has most fundamental: discipline and military hierarchy. Legality is with us and not with the communists' allied caudillo. Saved from the communization that was rapidly being prepared, Brazilians must thank the brave soldiers who protected them from their enemies. Democracy resurfaces. The nation lives in glorious days, because all patriots knew how to unite, regardless of sympathetic political connections or opinions on isolated problems, to save what is essential: democracy, law and order. Reproduced in the article the headlines of the 1964 military coup, in the magazine Carta Maior of March 31, 2009. Journalistic production was controlled by the Press Law, Law 5250, of February 9, 1967, during the Castelo Branco government, based on the new Constitution of 1967, which replaced that of 1946, and which instituted the control of information contrary to government's military. This law was revoked on April 30, 2009 by the Federal Supreme Court, in view of the democratic advances obtained with the 1988 Constitution. The economic model implemented, based on carrying out large works, with the taking of foreign capital by loan and wage tightening, which promoted a growth called by the military as an economic miracle, with rates of up to 10% a year, succumbed to the crisis 1970s oil, revealing the fragility of economic policy. This factor, together with the criticisms that began to appear more and more in the national and international context to the imposed regime of suppression of individual rights and guarantees, weakened the regime, with the top government having decided to transfer the government into the hands of civil society, through the relaxation of the repressive system. The political opening was slow and gradual, until the right to vote for president was restored and a new constitution was drafted. It is in this atmosphere of opening that, in 1979, the National Association of Newspapers in Brazil was founded, to which 140 newspapers were added throughout the country, its first president being Claudio Chagas Freitas. The group defended freedom of expression and citizens' rights, including promoting the great movement Direitos Já, which was headed by important national political leaders who had returned from exile, and also a large part of the Brazilian people, anxious for a return to democracy. In 2009, ANJ celebrated 30 years of existence, and its president, Judith de Brito, declared, "We started small, by choice, and today we have associated newspapers in absolutely every Brazilian state. We have a unit that we should be proud of, and that is the reason for our strength, which allows us, with more efficiency, to defend our interests." Did you like the video? In the description you will find the blog link with the full article. Give an incentive by subscribing to the channel, liking, commenting and sharing with your friends. Hugs. Until the next.